What's good, YouTube? It's your boy OG Nonboy back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing a team that I used to hit veteran in the Open Ultra League. And this team is very strong in spite of having no XL or legendary Pokemon, and as you'll see in these battles, it really performs well against teams that have one or both of those things. So the theory behind this team is that you have the Swampert in the front, which covers the Steel and the Poison type weakness of the two back Pokemon, and you have the Togekiss as the safe swap so that you can bait out a potential Steel or Poison type so that your Sylveon in the back can sweep the game. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into these matches. So in the first match, we're going to be met with a Gyarados lead, and that's absolutely terrible for us since Gyarados completely hardwalls Swampert. So we're going to immediately swap into our Togekiss, and this is also very bad for us as we're met with a Walrein, which does super effective damage with both the fast and charged move. And here I'm trying to build up to the flamethrower, and the opponent actually decides to throw their energy, which is alright for us. And at this point I'm going to bring the Swampert back in, and I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake. There's really no point in baiting at this point because they're not going to shield since they have a very dominant matchup with the Gyarados against the Swampert. So here I'm throwing the Earthquake. They're definitely not going to shield. And I'm expecting the Gyarados to come back in, but they actually bring in a Trevenant. And I'm going to throw this Hydro Cannon here since I know against either of the Pokemon, like this Hydro Cannon is going to be resisted and they're likely not going to shield. Which kind of is okay for us since we want to get that chip damage off so that this Sylveon has an easier time charming everything down. So now it's just, Charm City, like we keep going, and we're going to throw this Psyshock here. But I know here that the Gyarados is only going to be able to throw, what's the move? I guess we'll see, Aqua Tail, that's the move. So he's going to only be able to throw Aqua Tails at us, which do less damage than whatever the Trevenant would be able to throw at us. And since the Trevenant is almost at another move, I decide that I'm just going to tank both moves and make a move on the Sylveon. So here I'm going to throw the Hydro Cannon, hopefully draw a shield from it, and I feel like I'm going to be okay in this situation since my Sylveon has a charge move which will kill the Trevenant here. And I think I'm okay here because I have a shield too. So I shield the Seed Bomb and I actually go down here. And I didn't know this until like this battle happened, but apparently when you shield a move, you actually take 1 damage. So it's not like you're completely safe from the move. So that's why I lost that battle there, in spite of it being a CMP tie. So in this battle, they had a Dragonite lead, which I immediately swapped my Togekiss into. And unfortunately for the opponent, they don't really seem to have a good answer to a Fairy type. Escavalier is completely hard-walled by the Togekiss as it's taking resisted damage from like all the charge moves and the fast move as well. So we're in a pretty commanding position at this point, and they bring in the Trevenant. I'm able to get to the Flamethrower, which is likely going to draw a shield, and at this point, I'm just going to have to let this Togekiss go down because we have the alignment we want. And in the Ultra League, the Swampert's actually able to tank one of these Seed Bombs, so I'm going to let it go. And they catch the Hydro Cannon on their Dragonite, but at this point the game's still pretty much over as we're going to be able to charm down this Dragonite before they get to any move. Not that it would do any damage anyways, but we're also able to comfortably tank Shadow Balls on the Sylveon since it's pretty bulky. And we're going to be able to get to this Psyshock and the game's over. Like as you're going to see here, the Sylveon comfortably tanks the Shadow Ball and it's a GG's. Next match we have a Talonflame lead, and this is exactly where you want to see it since if the Talonflame is in the back somewhere, this team tends to have a really hard time with it. and they swap in the Virizion, and sometimes they run Leaf Blade, sometimes they run the Stone Edge, and here I tank a Stone Edge, but at this point I know that the charge move that they're throwing is just going to be the Sacred Sword, and that's going to be double resisted by the Togekiss. So I just let that go, and this puts us in an even better position since now the Talonflame is going to get less like farm before our Togekiss goes down. But they actually let the move through, and we're going to have to bring our Swampert in here. And I don't remember what I do here. I don't know if I shield or if I let it go, but I guess I decide to shield. But they have an Alolan Ninetales in the back, and I need to chip this before I swap out so that my Sylveon can actually win this matchup. So I'm going to throw both my Hydro Cannons here, and hopefully they let one through so that I can swap out. So now I bring in my Sylveon, and I'm just going to charm them all the way down. I'm going to tank this first move. And yeah, we're just going to keep charming away. And here, I decide to shield this, but it's like relatively questionable whether that was a good play or not. But I know, like, regardless of what I did there, I would be fine, as we're going to be able to charm down this Talonflame before he gets to 2 moves, like one for the Sylveon and one for the Swampert. So that's a GG's. And here we have a Swampert mirror match in the lead, and my Swampert tends to lose CMP against other Swampert since it's pretty high ranked. But I'm just going to throw the Hydro Cannon, and at some point I'm going to have to dip out of this matchup. So I'm going to tank this too since they tanked the first one. Like, I don't want to go down shields too quickly. And as you can see here, I do lose CMP like I anticipated. So I'm going to throw mine as well, and then I'm going to immediately swap into the Togekiss after this to start charming down the Swampert. And they swap in a... what's this? An Alolan Mach. And this one's running Snarl, which means it actually knows Sludge Wave. And I decided to just tank it. And it one-shots, but we're still in a decent position since I know I can get to this Hydro Cannon on CMP. And this will either force a shield or take them out, but I slightly miscalculate. And they're able to get to this move because they got like 1 HP left. But I'm just going to let this go and bank on Sylveon being able to charm everything down in the back. So here they have a Togekiss, and I'm like thinking right now that I'm pretty much screwed because as you can see, like, we're both doing equivalent charm damage to each other. So if they just kept charming me down, I would have lost the game. But here they decide to throw, which gives me a win con since I'm able to sneak 1 extra charm through. And I'm going to KO the Togekiss before I go down. And now I'm 1 charm away from the second Psyshock, so I'm going to be able to get that off, and that's going to be GG's. And I think this is the final battle, and we're met with a Jellicent, which is a pretty annoying XL Pokemon, especially if they start baiting with Bubble Beams and shielding my Earthquakes. Like, this matchup becomes pretty sticky. And you eventually want to get out too, because like you need to swap into your Togekiss to lure out whatever like steel or poison type there may be, so that your Swampert can take care of it. So I swap out of that. Thankfully they don't shield the Earthquake, and we bring our Togekiss in and we get this pretty low. So at this point we're in a pretty good position, and they bring in a Drapion, which honestly doesn't do that great against even the fairy types because it's still taking neutral damage from these charms, and as you can see, they're already half health. And they're not going to be able to farm me all the way down, or at least they don't think they're able to, so they throw a charge move here. And at this point, we're in a pretty commanding position. Like, we'll just realign our Swampert with this Drapion and get the Hydro Cannon off. We should be able to tank this move. And we throw our Hydro Cannon. Doesn't really matter if they shield or not, to be honest, but at this point they have a Scrafty in the back, which is double weak to our Sylveon, so they back out, and that's a GG's. So we're able to go 4-1 in the set with a really close first match. And yeah, this team is very strong, and I think the reason why is because with Virizion and Dragonite being more relevant in the meta nowadays with the move update, like the Charmers just have a lot better of a time in the Ultra League meta nowadays. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.